Craig Adams here from Wedding and Film School, and today I'm reviewing this 3-axis gimbal, which I think is quicker, easier, and cheaper than the DJI Ronin for weddings. It's a great stabilizer. Once you start using it with mirrorless and small cameras, you're never gonna touch a glide cam ever again, and I'm in love with it. I love it. Let's check out the footage though. So first off, it's for use with small cameras. Some people are going to want to throw their Canon DSLRs on there and they're going to find it's too big and the weight is too much. But I have an A7S Mark II because it is small and light, and the lenses that I use are small and light. This mirrorless camera tech allows it to be small like this, and the pros are that you get to use it with smarter tech like this for stabilization. So first off, you'll see that it is not completely built. When they ship it, it comes with a nice little case, but honestly, I'm the minimalist. I like to not have a lot of stuff, so I keep it out of the case. I don't use the case at all. So when I transport the gimbal itself in my support roller, I actually have to take the batteries out. And I found this out the hard way because I showed up at a wedding one morning and apparently it hit the power button and the gimbal was like on, just like... This is me being an idiot. Whoa, it's so hot. Okay, all right, well, I just picture, fuck. Just like freaking out in the bag for like who knows how long, like a half an hour or something. So you can unscrew the bottom or you can unscrew it right here to put the batteries in. So they'll give you 4 of these batteries and a charger. The charger just plugs in with micro USB, as simple and small as possible. But these look like big AA's, and I wasn't sure at first. I've had bad, with the Zoom products, like batteries get sucked and like you don't have that much time with them. But I was very pleasantly surprised with this. I ran some tests with the gimbal just running, and I've never actually used up these batteries. I've used the gimbal on a ton of different weddings, and I've only used 2 batteries for the entire day. I've had the backups just in case, but I've never even had to come close to using them. So the batteries last forever. So you just throw the 2 batteries in there, screw it in, very small threads. Okay, there we go. And it's pretty snug. It feels heavy, it feels like solid. I love the metal feel to it. The one thing that I'll say over and over again is that it feels like a lightsaber. It really does. And compared to like other handheld gimbals, the handle is very thin and small. I forget which one, but someone was showing me, I think it was a Pilot Fly, like the handle was like this big compared to this. You can really fit your hand around it and it feels like a lightsaber. I love it. Just like... So this is completely not balanced right now. So I'm gonna put the camera on and show you how to balance it and how long it takes. But you kind of do have to balance it at the beginning of each day. And if you make any lens swaps, you know, it's going to be slight adjustments. But if you know the thinking behind how to balance it, it really isn't that big of a problem. And you'll also notice that I put a base plate on the actual sled part of the gimbal here. So I have a plate on the bottom of the camera, and then I have it on the actual sled of the glide gear. It just goes on right like that. And you can actually flip that switch and it's for sure locked. It can't come out at all. So that's kind of nice. So when I balance it, I actually have this plate on the bottom and I usually put it in right there, and then I can just balance it like that. But because I have this table, you know, I can balance it just like this. So the first thing I do is I set my lens to kind of the middle. So it's a 16-35, so I want the balance to be kind of the middle, because I'm gonna be using it at 35, I'm gonna be using it at 16, so it has to be balanced for somewhere in between the two. There's gonna be stress at the edges, but that's fine. Okay, so what I do is I hold it like this, and my hand is on this joint right here, but I'm letting the camera move in this axis. So first off, I'm going to, so now all the weight is on this side because it's falling this way. So what I'm going to do is untighten that, and I'm actually going to push it forward a tiny bit, and then tighten this screw on the bottom, which comes with the glide gear. So now it's a little front heavy. So now we found the middle. So now I'm gonna flip it vertically like this, and my hand is still at this joint because there's actually 2 points. You want it to be balanced like this, but then also like this because we have our first joint slider. So it's definitely falling this way. So we need to slide, open up this joint and then slide it this way. And it's very small moves, so that was good. We just need a little bit more. Once again, just holding right here and letting the camera do a little bit of movement. Okay, see? So now it's not falling back or forward. It's pretty much just in the middle. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but like you kind of have, you know, the feeling like it's pretty balanced. Like it could go either way with just the slightest push. So we're just gonna tighten that joint down. And now we have to go back to this. We kind of have to go back and forth until this is good. So now it's very front heavy. So we're going to undo this and pull it back a tiny bit. And I'm actually going to leave it untightened because that's good right there. So I'm gonna make sure the camera is straight. Tighten that down. Double check that. A little back heavy, but it's pretty close. And then that's pretty good right there. So honestly, that's totally fine. If I let it go like this, it'll slightly go back, but if I put it to f16 focal length, it'll go forward a tiny bit. See, with the changes in the focal length, you know, the balance will be thrown off a little bit. So that's totally fine. The motors can make up for that. So now next, I'm going to do the same thing, but hold this joint right here. So what the camera will do is either fall this way or this way. So I'm gonna hold the joint, and it definitely wants to go this way. So we're gonna slide the camera this way with this joint right here. So I'm gonna untighten that, push it that way a lot, go back, hold this joint right here, and it's still falling that way, but it's a lot better. Okay. So I'm gonna go to f6, gonna go to focal length 16 just to help with the balance. So now it's still falling that way a tiny bit. So I'm gonna push it a little bit more. Just a tiny bit more. Tiny bit more. Okay, so now it doesn't want to fall this way or that way. So that's pretty good. I'm gonna tighten that. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3 pretty much balanced. That leaves the last one right here. And this one's a little bit more tricky because we have to actually hold it against a table like this. And the camera will want to either move this joint all the way to my right up or down. So we want it to kind of balance right there. We don't want it to do anything. So it balances. So right now it is too far this way. So we need to slide that joint back a little bit. So it's easier to do that right here. So I'm going to undo that and I'm going to slide it. Okay, let's tighten that and test that real quick. And this is easier to do with a table for sure. Okay, that's better. Okay, so now we want to give it a little bit more because it's still falling that same direction. So I'm gonna undo that and then push it a bit more. Okay, and this should be good, really. Should be getting close. Okay. Okay. There we go. So now that was a bit too much, so now it's going the opposite way. So I'm gonna take it back a tiny bit. Just a little bit. Just a tiny, tiny bit. Okay, there we go. All right, so that looks good to me. So now we're going to fire it up and see how it goes. So the power button is just a press and hold right here and kind of let it catch. And there you go. That's completely balanced. Looks good to me. So there's two different modes that I use. This is what I call Majestic mode. So it will turn the camera when you kind of turn the handle, but there'll be a slight like fade, a little delay. And it allows you to pretty much point in any direction you want and keep things smooth. So with this little joystick right here, you can actually tilt the camera up and down, which is pretty fantastic. You can actually open the app on the phone after you download it and control the speed of this as well. You can control a lot of different things about the gimbal and update it and stuff like that. And one of the coolest features of the gimbal is that you can actually flip it upside down like that. So this is a great feature because it's so quick and easy to switch and transition between the two. One beautiful thing about it is that with the base plate here, you can take hands off of it and actually almost treat it like a motorized tripod. So you can tilt, turn, and it's pretty smooth and pretty good. And then immediately get back into the action. So the other mode that I use is just a simple click of the joystick and then it locks that plane. So it'll stay, so no matter where how much you turn or rotate or move the joystick, the handle here, the camera will face that direction. So this is really good if you want to just focus on keeping it in one direction like that. It's fantastic. And then you just click it once and then you're right back to Majestic mode. So I've used the Ronin, I've used the Glide Cam, I've used this, and this is the clear winner. It's so quick and easy, fantastic for weddings. You can do smooth shots with tighter focal lengths, so I'll switch to the 35 every so often and get really cool stuff and push in even further with the clear image zoom if I want. This is great for receptions, for first dances, for entrances, for doing bride and groom like photo session stuff with their hands walking. There's so much possibility to get really good stuff, and especially paired with the A7S with its autofocus. You can just focus on getting really cool shots and keeping it smooth. So I would absolutely recommend this product to any wedding filmmakers who are starting out or more advanced, anyone who's been using a glide cam will jump immediately to this and be good to go. It may take some getting used to as far as knowing when to use these types of shots in your wedding films for people starting out. But if you want to find out more, there's a link in the description to check it out and learn more and purchase it yourself. If this video helped in any way, please give it a like. Thank you so much for subscribing. Peace out.